Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today's video is sponsored by Helix Sleep, a premium mattress in the box company that makes mattresses that fit your needs and preferences. Take the Helix Sleep quiz and enter all of your needs and preferences, including mattress size, firmness, sleep position, and Helix Sleep will match you with a mattress that will suit your needs. So I took the Helix Sleep quiz and I happen to be a side sleeper. I like a medium firmness, and I have a relatively small bed. I share it with my husband, but we like a full-size bed. We like to be in close proximity together. It just feels more snuggly. And the sleep quiz matched me with the Helix Dusk Luxe. It's a very lovely mattress that I'm so pleased with. Our old mattress was so sad. We inherited it and had many years under its belt. I believe it was manufactured in 1988. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed to even say it, but it served us well, but it was lumpy. It didn't have a lot of back support, and my new mattress is the complete opposite. It's soft and pillowy on the top. It supports my back. What I also really like about Helix Sleep is the mattress will be delivered right to my door, and if you live in the US, shipping is included in the price. Not only that, the mattress comes in a box, which makes it really great to maneuver up narrow stairwells, which we have to get up to our second floor. When I had a standard mattress, it was so difficult to get the mattress not only just to fit in the stairwell, but to make this turn up to the upstairs. And because of the way it arrives in a box, I was able to set up my mattress alone. I just unfurled it right out of the box. It was great. I didn't need any help whatsoever. Helix Sleep mattresses also come with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. If you'd like to try Helix Sleep mattresses for yourself, click the link down below to receive up to $200 off your mattress and 2 free pillows. Big thanks to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video and for their continued support. Now today I'm going to be making yet another hard times recipe. These are recipes and foods from times of hardship. If you've missed the previous videos, I'll put a link down below to the playlist. Now this one comes from Canada and is called Pouding Chômeur, which translates to pudding of the unemployed person. So this recipe came from the Great Depression in the 1930s, where 1/3 of the population in Canada was unemployed, and legend has it, a factory worker came up with this recipe as a way to use ingredients that were around the house to make a dessert. Now this recipe is still made and is still called Pouding Chômeur, but it is much fancier than its original incarnation. The original recipe was essentially a bread pudding that was made with stale bread, and usually a brown sugar syrup was applied to it. It was baked and had as a dessert. So the version that I'll be making today is a more modern take on Pouding Chômeur, and instead of using stale bread, it's going to be replaced with cake. And the syrup will be made out of maple syrup and cream. Sold. This sounds so delicious. And what I'm most intrigued with is that there's going to be a little bit of a switcheroo. We're going to be putting the maple cream on top of the cake batter, and in the baking process the cake will float to the top and the cream will go to the bottom, kind of saucing the cake. I mean, that description alone is reason enough to make this recipe. So I'm going to be using Chef John's recipe from Food Wishes. His looked absolutely lovely. I did look at Glenn and Friends, and I also looked at a few others. I'll put all their links down below in case you're curious. A couple of lovelies pointed me in the direction of Pouding Chômeur, and I read more about it on Gastro Obscura, and again, I'll put all those links down below. So big thanks to all my lovelies who suggested that I make this. It sounds so stinking great. Behind me, I have my oven preheating at 425 degrees. It has not beeped yet. So when it does, I will not be alarmed and I will not jump. Right? So one other thing, this recipe actually is quite decadent and expensive. So while it is called the unemployed person's pudding, it's actually quite pricey because it uses maple syrup, real maple syrup, which is not inexpensive. But having said that, if you think about it, this is probably something that you had in your larder back in the day. You probably sugared your maples and you probably had a stock of this at home. So in that sense, I can go with that. Enough chatting, let's go ahead and do this. I keep trying to anticipate this thing beeping at me. I'm like, when's it gonna beep? When's it gonna beep? Oopsie. It's ready. I know that there's a way to reduce the volume of that beep. I just haven't gone through the steps, obviously, to do that yet, but I will. In this bowl, I've got 3/4 of a cup of butter, and I cut it into small pieces to encourage it to get to room temperature faster. To that, we're gonna add an equal amount of sugar. You can either mix this by hand or use an electric assist. I'm opting for assistance. Here we go. Boop. Oh my gosh. You think at this point I'd be used to the speed of this, but I'm not. Okay, calm down, mixer. Like, this is level 1. There should be like a level -1 because this is too boosty. So the butter and the sugar are creamed. Now we're going to add 2 room temperature eggs, 1 at a time. Next, we're gonna add just the tiniest little bit of vanilla, 1/4 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Boop. Mixy, mixy. We're gonna add 1 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna put this in half at a time. And I'm just gonna use a spatula to incorporate this. They always say that if you stir something like this too vigorously, you will create gluten, which are the protein strands, which could make your cookies or your cake, whatever you're making, tough. It's fine if you're making bread because you want that chew, but if you're making something delicate like a cake, not so much. So, other half. I'm wearing white for once. That's so nice. I'm always wearing something like dark. Now, I've got a baking dish here that's nice and deep. In Chef John's recipe, he uses a pie dish, and he stresses that that pie dish was way too small and he wasn't able to put all of the syrup, which I haven't made yet. So in actuality, you're supposed to make the syrup first. Emmy was a little too excited about making the cake, so let's go ahead and make the syrup. Luckily, it is very, very simple. So into a saucepan, we're going to add 2 cups of maple syrup. The real maple syrup, not the stuff that is in the squeezy bottle. We want the real stuff, and this stuff is expensive. It is, but it's so good. But if you're sugaring your own trees, then this would be a resource that you have just in your backyard. Alrighty, 2 glorious cups of dark maple syrup into my pot. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to use the same measuring cup to kind of rinse out that leftover maple syrup. 2 cups of heavy cream. Oh, gorgeous. And while that comes to a boil, I'm going to butter my baking dish. I'm going to add the cake batter, spreading this cake mixture evenly. So I was supposed to make this maple cream in the beginning before I made the cake batter. So there was some time for it to cool. So I'm going to try to rapidly cool my syrup just a little bit by shoveling it between 2 measuring cups. This is kind of like pulled tea. The idea is that this stretching will cool it off a bit. And by the amount of steam that's coming off of this, it's kind of working. I've never really done this before. It's beautiful though, isn't it? A few more times to get some of this heat to dissipate. Now we're going to add the syrup to the top of our cake. Look at that. All of it. Make sure you leave about 1 inch of headspace on the top of this because the cake is going to expand and you don't want this getting all over your oven. So that is the reason why we have such a deep dish. Wow. Now we're going to pop this into a 425-degree Fahrenheit oven and bake it for 30 minutes or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. Okay, see you in a little bit. Alrighty, my beautiful lovelies, my pudding chômeur has come out of the oven and it smells fantastic. So I baked this for the full 30 minutes and I used a toothpick to check for doneness. I did have to use a little bit of foil to cover it because it was starting to brown pretty quickly. Look at that! And indeed, the syrup is now on the bottom and we've got cake on top. Ooh, the top has got a little bit of a crust to it. And then it's beautifully cakey with maple cream syrup at the bottom. Alrighty, let's give this a go. Itadakimasu. It's warm, luscious, moist, decadent, candied. You get a little bit of that kind of caramelization around the edges. So it's a little bit chewy, toasted, nutty, and buttery. The texture of the cake itself reminds me a lot of a coffee cake, like a sour cream coffee cake. Very similar crumb to that, moist and buttery and delicious. Oh my gosh, the flavor of maple syrup in this is phenomenal. I think a handful of blueberries would make this perfect. Oh man. I should also clarify that this is a French-Canadian recipe and most likely has its origins from pain perdu, which is like French toast. A very sweet recipe, to be sure, but a delicious cake. So there you have it, my lovelies. That's pudding chômeur, or unemployed person's pudding. Very simple to make, very decadent, very rich, and very sweet, and very delicious. Thanks so much for watching, and big thanks to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to check them out, click the link down below to see how you can get up to $200 off a Helix Sleep mattress along with 2 free pillows. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Man, time to go jump roping.